You ever have that one coworker who pretends they didn't mean to cross a line, but does it over and over anyway? Yeah, I did too. She thought stealing my pens was harmless, until the day her notebook betrayed her in front of the entire office. If you've ever dreamed of serving silent, glittery justice to someone who wouldn't stop testing your patience, hit that like button, subscribe, and buckle up. Because today we're diving into one of the most deliciously petty, but completely justified, office revenge stories you'll ever hear. I work in a pretty chill office. Quiet people, manageable workload, passive-aggressive coffee machine notes. Your average workplace ecosystem. But lately, something strange kept happening. My pens were going missing. Not all pens. Just mine. And not the cheap bulk ones either. I'm talking about the good pens, those smooth purple gel pens I bought because they made taking notes actually enjoyable. It wasn't the kind of thing you report to HR. They're pens, right? But still, every time I reached into my cup holder or my drawer, that subtle jolt of irritation hit. Empty. Again. At first, I doubted myself. Maybe I was being paranoid? Maybe I left them at the meeting room or lent one out and forgot. But after the third time in a week, I started to feel it, that distinct, slow-burning kind of disrespect. Like someone was poking at my personal space just enough to be noticed, but not enough to be called out. Now there's this one coworker. Let's call her Rachel. Rachel has that smile that never quite touches her eyes. Always friendly. Always a little too curious about what's on your desk. The kind of person who insists she's just borrowing stuff, but somehow never returns anything unless you ask. I had my suspicions. Then one day during a weekly department meeting, I saw it. Right there in her hand, my purple gel pen. The one I special ordered because it didn't bleed through notebook pages and felt like writing on silk. I knew it was mine. There was a tiny scratch near the cap and the ink level was exactly where I left it last. So I said, casually, not wanting to cause a scene, "Hey, I think that's my pen." Rachel glanced down, giggled, and said, "Oops." Didn't even notice. No apology. No returning it. Just that dismissive laugh that told me everything I needed to know. And that was it. That laugh? It snapped something in me. It wasn't the pen. It was the principle. I wasn't about to get into a full-blown office feud over stationery, but I also wasn't about to keep letting this slide. Not after being openly disrespected like that. You want to play petty? Fine. Let's play. That night, I went home and did a little shopping. I ordered a pack of refillable pens that looked almost identical to the ones I'd been using. Slick, comfortable, inviting. But here's where it gets good. Instead of regular ink, I filled them with glitter gel refills. Now, if you've never seen glitter gel ink dry on paper, it's subtle at first. But once the ink settles, it shimmers. Like someone exploded a unicorn birthday card on the page. And these pens weren't labeled or color-coded. They looked completely normal when you wrote with them, until about 10 seconds later. I scattered them around my desk. In the pen cup, beside my keyboard, on top of my notepad. A glittering trap just waiting to be sprung. A few days later, we're back in another team meeting. Rachel's sitting across the table, casually jotting down notes. And then, it happens. Someone leans over and squints at her notebook. "Hey, why does your notebook look like a birthday card?" Everyone turns to look. Rachel lifts the page and freezes. The notes she'd been taking? They were sparkling. Like full-on glitter shimmer. Pink, silver, and blue reflections catching in the light. I watched her stare at the paper like it had just stabbed her in the back. She didn't say a word. Didn't even look up at me. But the silence? Oh, it was delicious. You could feel her embarrassment radiating off her like heat from a busted laptop. I kept my face neutral. Inside, I was grinning like a maniac. After that meeting, my pen stopped going missing. No apology. No confrontation. Just awkward glances across the room and a noticeable lack of glitter in anyone else's notes. She knew. And better yet, she knew I knew. What made this so satisfying wasn't just the payback. It was the elegance of it. I didn't raise my voice. Didn't report her. Didn't stoop to her level. I simply let her expose herself, and glitter did the rest. There's a unique kind of power in making someone confront their own behavior without saying a word. And watching her slowly realize she'd been set up, by something as simple as ink, was poetic. It was the kind of revenge that leaves no evidence, no trail, just pure, sparkling humiliation. Sometimes justice doesn't have to come loud or angry. Sometimes it just takes a little glitter and a lot of patience. Because respect isn't taken. It's earned and defended even with something as small as a pen. If this story gave you that chef's kiss feeling, hit that like button and tell us in the comments. What's the pettiest but most satisfying revenge you've ever seen? And hey, subscribe for more stories like this one. Because here, we believe karma doesn't always need a big bang. Sometimes it just needs sparkles.